Emily didn't plan on watching anything that night. She was halfway through a leftover sandwich and scrolling absently through YouTube, letting the autoplay algorithm play whatever it wanted. Her back ached the way it always did near midnight. The apartment was quiet, just the hum of the fridge and the occasional sound of her neighbor's dog scratching at the wall. She wasn't looking for anything. Certainly not for that. The thumbnail was bright and dramatic: How I Lost My Sister and Found My Voice. Tara wins. Voice Within Season 5, 4.3 million views. Trending number 1. Uploaded 3 days ago. Emily squinted. She hadn't watched Voice Within in years. Maybe Season 1 in college. She remembered Tara loved it. Used to sing along to the intros, mouth open wide like she was born for the spotlight. Emily always teased her, "You don't need an audience, you are one." She hovered her cursor over the thumbnail. Something about the title made her stomach tighten. She almost moved on. But then curiosity, or maybe dread, she clicked. The screen filled with color and sound. Tara stood on stage beneath a rain of golden confetti. She looked radiant, gown, flowing curls, bouncing makeup flawless. She held the microphone with one hand and wiped away a tear with the other. The audience roared, the judges clapped. It was a celebration. Emily didn't smile. A voiceover began soft and inspirational. "I wouldn't be standing here today if it weren't for my sister," Tara said. "She raised me, she protected me. She worked 3 jobs just so I could sing in the school choir. She was my everything." Emily froze, eyes locked on the screen. Tara's voice cracked with rehearsed emotion. "When she died, I lost part of myself, but I promised her I would carry our story forward, that I would live out loud for both of us." Emily's heart thudded, her mouth went dry. When she died, the screen shifted to a pre-recorded segment, a montage of Tara's life journey. Childhood photos, cheap apartments, a blurry video of her singing at a community center. Then an old picture appeared. 2 little girls sitting on a peeling porch swing in South Carolina. One had her arm around the other. Both smiled wide, unaware of anything but the moment. Emily's stomach dropped. She knew that swing, she knew that porch, she knew that photo. She was in it. But the caption read, "Tara and her late sister Emma, 1998. Emma. Her name wasn't Emma. Her name was Emily Ann Morris, and she was very much alive. She hit pause. The screen froze on her 8-year-old face. Her hand trembled on the mouse, her throat tightened as if a hand had wrapped around it. She sat there for a full minute trying to process what she had just seen. A vibration jolted her. Her phone buzzed with a message from an old classmate she hadn't heard from in years. "Hey, is this video about you? I thought you were the one who got hurt." Emily stared at the message, stunned. The accident, the surgeries, the wheelchair, the months of rehab, the permanent limp. Tara had visited once. And now she was standing on a national stage, pretending to mourn a sister who never died, telling millions of people a story that wasn't hers. Emily's hands shook as she opened her browser. She typed Tara M. Voice Within interview full. Article after article popped up. Tragic past fuels rising stars' victory. Tara M. Turning grief into greatness. America's sweetheart brings judges to tears with emotional tribute to late sister. Tragic past. She was alive. And no one knew. Emily slammed her laptop shut, but it was too late. The words were in her head. The applause, the tears, the perfectly staged moment. It wasn't just a lie, it was a masterpiece built on her pain. She stood up too fast, winced as her hip flared with pain, and limped to the bathroom. She splashed water on her face, stared at herself in the mirror. Same eyes, same scar above the eyebrow from the crash, same faint line down her jaw. Nothing about her looked dead. She grabbed her phone again, opened Tara's Instagram. The latest post, a photo of Tara clutching her trophy, captioned, "For you, Em, always." Emily nearly dropped the phone. It wasn't just that Tara had used her name, it was that she used her nickname, the one only family ever used, the one that Emily had buried deep under trauma and silence. And suddenly Emily knew this wasn't a misunderstanding. This wasn't poor judgment or dramatic exaggeration. It was theft. Her name, her history, her pain, stolen. She typed a message, erased it, typed again. "We need to talk." She stared at the screen, no send button yet. Then her thumb hovered, clicked. Sent. Emily didn't sleep that night. The glow of the screen had burned its shape into her eyes even long after she shut the laptop. The applause still rang in her ears, and that sentence, "when she died," looped in her mind like a cruel joke. She lay awake on the couch staring at the cracked ceiling as flashes of her childhood drifted in, Tara chasing her barefoot through the yard, both of them laughing, the smell of honeysuckle thick in the summer air. That porch swing, that photo, that lie. She typed 5 different versions of a message before sending the simplest one. "We need to talk." The reply came quickly. "Not like this, I'll come by tomorrow." By morning, Emily had changed clothes twice, rearranged the furniture made, and remade a pot of coffee. Her body ached from stress. When the knock came, she froze for a moment before limping to the door. Tara stood there with her usual grace, wrapped in a camel trench coat, designer boots on the welcome mat. Her curls were perfect, her lipstick subtle. "Em," she said softly with a practiced smile, "you look good." Emily didn't answer. She just turned and walked into the living room, letting the door hang open behind her. Tara followed. The silence between them stretched thin. Neither reached for a hug. "You want coffee?" Emily asked, her voice flat. "No, thank you." Tara sat carefully on the edge of the couch like she was afraid of wrinkling something. Emily sat across from her. Her gaze didn't blink. "I saw the video." Tara nodded slowly. "I figured." "You used my face," Emily said. "My photo, my name, okay, not exactly, but close enough, and my story." "I didn't use your name," Tara said quickly. "I changed it. Emma is me, and we both know it." Tara exhaled. "Look, I know how it looks." "No," Emily interrupted. "You don't know how it looks. You made it look like I was dead." Tara leaned forward. "I didn't think you'd care. You left. You disappeared. Nobody heard from you in over a year." "I was healing," Emily said, voice rising. "I was learning to walk again. I was in pain every day, physical and otherwise. And you know what I needed most? Family. A visit, a call, anything." "I didn't know how to help," Tara whispered, "so I stayed away." "No," Emily said, biting back tears. "You stayed away until it was convenient to use me." Tara's face crumbled. "That's not true." "It is," Emily said. "You stood on a stage and you cried for sympathy over a tragedy you didn't live." "I lived part of it," Tara snapped. "You think it didn't hurt watching my sister break and disappear?" "You didn't watch, you left." Tara's eyes shimmered. "I didn't know what to do. I was always behind you, Em. You were the one who got the awards, the scholarships. I was the shadow. For once I had a chance to be seen and I wanted to matter." "So you killed me off?" Emily asked. "Made me your martyr so you could feel worthy?" Tara said nothing. Emily looked away. "You could have told my story, with me, not instead of me." Tara swallowed hard. People loved it. They reached out, told me it gave them hope. But it wasn't yours to give. Outside, a car honked. Inside, the silence was heavier than before. Emily stood up, wincing slightly as her hip protested. "Do Mom and Dad know?" she asked. Tara flinched. "They've seen the show." Emily waited, and "They're proud of me," Tara said quietly. "They think I've finally done something right." Emily laughed once, sharp, bitter. "Of course they do. You know how they are," Tara said. "If it looks shiny, it must be good." Emily looked at her sister like she was seeing her for the first time. "You know what's sad?" she said. "I'm not even surprised." Tara stood suddenly defensive. "Look, I didn't come here to be attacked. I came because you texted." "I texted because I needed to look you in the eye and ask why." Tara paused. "Then, because I thought you weren't coming back. And because I didn't think anyone would care about me without a tragedy to carry." Emily blinked, silent. "Finally," she said, "you were wrong." Tara looked down. "I know." She walked toward the door. "I don't expect forgiveness," she said, "but I hope one day you'll understand." Emily said nothing. When the door closed, she stood for a long time in the quiet, staring at nothing. Then she went to her old laptop, blew the dust off, opened the blog she hadn't touched in years. She began typing. "My name is Emily. I'm not dead, but for the past 3 years I've felt invisible. This is the story no one told. The truth about pain survival and what it means to watch someone else live your life while you sit in the dark. This isn't revenge, it's a record." Emily didn't expect the blog post to go anywhere. She didn't promote it. She didn't link it on her social media, not that she used it anymore. The last time she posted a selfie was 3 years ago before the crash, when she still had 2 working legs and a bright future in speech therapy. She clicked publish and closed her laptop. That was it. It was never about attention, but the internet has a mind of its own. By noon the next day, someone had reposted the entry to Reddit, tagging it with, "Did Tara M. lie about her sister dying?" Within hours, the post exploded. People pulled screenshots from Voice Within. They compared Emily's old Facebook photos, the ones still lingering online like ghosts, with the images Tara had shown during the show's emotional montage. Side-by-sides appeared, captioned reactions. Then came TikTok's reaction videos and podcast snippets debating the controversy. The hashtags began trending: #real Emily, #sister swap, #truth behind the voice. Emily watched it all unfold from her couch. At first she felt paralyzed, as though the world had peeled off her skin and thrown her out in the cold. But as the hours passed, the fear started to shift into something else. Validation. People believed her. Not everyone, of course. The internet never gives you 100%. Some accused her of seeking attention. Others claimed she was jealous of Tara's success, using ableism and cancel culture to ruin a rising star. One comment said, "She's clearly bitter that her little sister made something of herself." But then there were the messages that mattered. "Thank you for sharing. I've been erased too. Your words made me cry. I feel seen. You're not invisible anymore." One stranger even sent her a bouquet of white tulips with no card. Emily didn't know what to do with them, so she left them on the windowsill. They stayed alive for a week. Meanwhile, Tara's life was crumbling. First came the sponsors. Gone. Then her PR team dropped her with a curt statement. "We believe in transparency and authentic storytelling. We are terminating our relationship with Ms. M." Within 2 days, Voice Within removed Tara's montage video from their official channel and issued a neutral but clear press release. "We are reviewing the details surrounding Tara M's season and her representation of her personal story." Tara tried to fight back. She released an apology video on her Instagram sitting on the edge of her couch in sweatpants, face bare. "I never meant to hurt anyone," she said tearfully, "least of all my sister. I thought I was honoring her." The comments were a war zone, half sympathy, half rage. A few people tried to defend her, but a lie is like fire and dry brush. It doesn't need time, it just needs friction. And the truth, especially when it's told by the person erased, tends to burn hotter. Tara called. Emily let it go to voicemail, called again, ignored. Then she texted, "Please, just once, let me explain, not online, just us." Emily didn't answer right away. That evening, her parents showed up at her door. It was the first time they'd visited her in over a year. Her father looked older than she remembered. Her mother wore sunglasses, though it wasn't sunny. "Hi, sweetheart," her mom said. "May we come in?" Emily stood in the doorway, unsure. Why now? Her mother sighed, "Because the whole world is looking and we realized we hadn't been." Her father added, "We thought you wanted space. You didn't answer our calls." "I was recovering," Emily said. "We didn't know how bad it got," her mother said quietly. "You never asked." Silence. They didn't push to come inside. Instead, her father reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a small envelope. "A letter," he said, "from your sister. We don't know if you'll read it, but she asked us to deliver it in person. She thought maybe it would mean more." Emily took it reluctantly. They left. She stood by the door for a long time before tearing it open. Inside, the handwriting was shaky, rushed. "I don't know who I am anymore without your story. That terrifies me. I didn't mean to erase you, Em. I thought I was giving you a voice when you couldn't speak. But I see now I was only speaking for myself. I'm sorry. I love you. I've always loved you. Even when I disappeared. Even when I was jealous. Even when I became someone else." Emily read it twice, then a third time. She didn't cry. She didn't smile. She just sat down and opened her laptop. Her blog had over 220,000 views. Her inbox was full of interview requests, national talk shows, mental health podcasts, feminist magazines. She closed them all. Instead, she clicked New Post and began to type. Day 2. They say truth is loud, but it's not. Truth is quiet. It comes in through the cracks when you finally stop trying to be understood by people who never saw you in the first place. She paused, then added, "This story isn't about vengeance, it's about reclamation." Emily hadn't written a blog post in over 3 years. The last time she tried, her fingers froze halfway through this sentence. "My name is Emily, and I'm still here." She never finished it, never hit publish, until now. This time she didn't overthink it. She wrote honestly, as if nobody would read it. She didn't name names. She didn't accuse. She simply told her versions. The accident, the pain, the silence that followed, the sister who disappeared when she needed her most. The moment she saw her own face on national television labeled as dead. At the bottom she signed, "I am not a ghost. I am the girl you cried for, except I never left." Then she hit publish. She left the apartment that morning for the first time in days, walking slowly to the park near her building. She didn't expect much. Maybe a dozen views. Maybe a few old friends would read it. She didn't care. But by the time she returned, everything had changed. Her phone had blown up with notifications. A stranger had found her blog, posted a screenshot on Reddit with the caption, "Did Tara M. fake her sister's death to win voice within?" And the internet, as it does, exploded. Within hours, thousands of people were dissecting the post. Old family photos, previously archived social media images, and clips from the show were being compared, debated, and framed into timelines. Some users claimed Tara had emotionally manipulated the nation. Others thought it was a misunderstanding. Some defended her fiercely. Others turned vicious. Hashtags began trending: how justice for Emily, truth behind the tears, how she's not dead. The post passed 50,000 views by nightfall, and Tara was everywhere. Her name lit up search engines and news sites. Podcasts invited her. Brands dropped her. Her talent agent released a carefully worded statement. "We are re-evaluating our representation of Miss M following recent developments." The producers of Voice Within released a statement too. "We are investigating concerns regarding Season 5's winning contestant and their reported personal history. Our commitment is to truth and transparency." Emily couldn't breathe, not from panic but from disbelief. This wasn't revenge. She hadn't wanted to go viral. She just wanted to exist again. But now the world saw her. And it saw Tara too, without the glitter, without the tears, without the filter of perfection. That night, Tara posted an apology video. She sat on her living room floor in sweatpants and a hoodie, no makeup, hair in a loose bun. Her face was puffy, her voice cracked. "I want to apologize," she began, "not just to the public but to my sister. I should have never spoken her story as if it were mine to tell. I thought I was honoring her. I thought I was doing something beautiful, but I crossed a line and I hurt her." The video got 5 million views in 24 hours. The top comment read, "Too little, too late." Another said, "She used grief as a performance, and now she's performing remorse." Emily watched the video once, then turned it off. She wasn't sure how to feel, not vindicated, not angry, just hollow. A few days later, a package arrived at her door. It was a letter, handwritten, "Damned. I don't know how to fix this, maybe I can't. But I need you to know that I didn't do it because I hate you. I did it because I couldn't stand being invisible. You've always been the strong one, the bright one. I wanted a piece of that light even if I had to borrow it. I'm sorry, truly. T." No excuses, no begging, just truth. Emily stared at the letter for a long time. Then she folded it and tucked it inside her journal. She didn't call back, not yet. But she opened her laptop. The blog now had over 200,000 views. Her inbox was flooded with interview requests, daytime talk shows, journalists, book agents, mental health advocates. She declined them all, except one. It was a small podcast hosted by a woman who had messaged her privately. "I was erased too. I'd love to talk. No pressure, no cameras, just a conversation between two people who've had their voices stolen." Emily agreed. The episode aired a week later. It was quiet, intimate, no dramatic music, just Emily speaking with clarity and composure. "I don't want to cancel anyone," she said. "This isn't about taking something away. It's about reclaiming what was always mine." The episode resonated, and slowly the firestorm cooled. Tara disappeared from headlines. Brands moved on. The show prepared for its next season. But something remained. The truth. Not just about what happened, but about who Emily was and still is. Not a ghost. Not a symbol. A person. Emily didn't plan to respond. Not to the texts, not to the emails, not even to the letter. But something about that podcast, that 1 hour of just speaking out loud to someone who didn't ask for the performance or the drama, had changed something in her. It made space. Space to ask what forgiveness might look like. Not the kind where everything returns to how it was. That was gone. But something else, a soft reckoning. A boundary built not out of walls, but out of truth. So when Tara showed up uninvited, unannounced, Emily didn't slam the door. She opened it slowly. It was late afternoon. The sky was pale and gray. Tara looked normal, worn down, tired, no makeup, no trench coat, no designer heels, just a hoodie, jeans, and a paper bag in her hands. "Soup," she said quietly, holding it out. "I didn't know if you'd eaten." Emily hesitated, then stepped aside. The door closed. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then Emily said, "I'm not hungry." Tara nodded and set the bag down on the counter. "That's okay." They stood in the kitchen awkwardly. "I heard the podcast," Tara said finally. Emily raised an eyebrow. "Figured you would. You sounded calm, strong." Emily shrugged. "Telling the truth will do that." Tara looked down. "I wish I had done that from the beginning." Silence again. Emily poured herself a glass of water. Her leg ached, but she didn't sit. She didn't offer Tara a seat either. "You know," Emily said, "the worst part wasn't hearing you lie. It was watching people believe it, watching them mourn me while I was still breathing." Tara winced. "I was selfish. You were strategic." Tara looked up. "That makes it sound worse." It was worse. Tara swallowed. "I wasn't trying to replace you. I thought if I told the story in a certain way, people would finally care." "They did," Emily said, "and now they don't." That landed like a stone. Tara sat down at the small kitchen table. Emily stayed standing. "I lost everything," Tara said quietly. "You didn't lose me," Emily said. "You gave me away." Tara blinked, lips trembling. "I thought you'd never speak to me again." "I almost didn't." Tara nodded. "Then why now?" Emily looked at her, not with warmth, but not with cruelty either. Just honesty. "Because I'm tired of being angry, of being erased, of carrying you in silence while you built a career out of my grief." Tara's eyes welled with tears. "I didn't realize how far I'd gone until you spoke. And suddenly, I heard myself for the first time, and I didn't like what I sounded like." Emily finally sat, not close, just across the table. "Do you know what I kept thinking?" she asked. "What if you had just told the truth? What if you had said, 'My sister survived something terrible, and I've never known how to talk to her about it'? That alone would have moved people." Tara wiped her eyes. "I didn't think that was enough." "That's your problem," Emily said. "You think pain has to be polished before it's worthy." Tara nodded slowly. "You're right." Silence returned. But this time it didn't sting. Emily stood again, walked to the counter, opened the bag. Carrot ginger soup, 2 spoons, napkins folded carefully. She brought it to the table and sat again. "I'm not promising anything," she said. Tara didn't nod, didn't cry. She just said, "That's more than I deserve." They ate in silence for a while. Outside, it started to rain. Halfway through the bowl, Emily asked, "Do Mom and Dad know you're here?" Tara shook her head. "They think I'm still doing press interviews." Emily smirked, still playing the character. Tara looked embarrassed. "I don't know who I am without it." "Then maybe it's time you find out." "I want to," Tara said, "but not if it means losing you again." Emily paused. "You never really had me," she said. "Not since the accident. You showed up to the hospital once, then you vanished. Then you brought me back on national television in a way that made you the grieving hero and me the dead motivation." "I didn't know how to be your sister anymore," Tara whispered. "I didn't know if you wanted one." Emily stared at her. "I wanted a real one, not a perfect one, not a famous one, just someone who stayed." They sat quietly again. Finally, Tara asked, "What now?" Emily didn't answer right away. Then, "I don't know. But maybe we start with small things, honest things. You don't get my story again. You don't get to narrate it, shape it, or borrow it. But if you want to sit in the same room while I live it, that's something we can build on. Tara nodded. I'd like that. They finished the soup. No hug, no tearful reconciliation, just a shared silence. And for the first time in years, it wasn't empty. It was spacious. Room to rebuild. 2 months later, the storm had passed. The hashtags faded, the headlines moved on, a new scandal replaced the old. Voice Within announced a new host. Tara's name had been quietly removed from the website. No formal statement, just a quiet erasure. Irony, Emily thought. That's how it feels. Emily didn't post anything new for a while. She kept writing in private journaling, longhand avoiding the noise. She still checked her blog, but only once a week. The numbers kept rising slowly, then leveling off. A few thousand more readers, some email inquiries, podcast follow-ups, a few book agents. She said no to most of them. Not because she didn't want to speak, but because finally, for the first time in a long time, she didn't need to. Her truth was already out there. It had weight now, and she didn't feel the need to defend it anymore. She had taken back her voice. Now she just wanted to live with it. Tara kept her distance, but not entirely. They didn't talk every day, not even every week, but there were small things: a recipe shared, a funny photo from childhood, a random message on a gray Wednesday that just said, "Thinking of you." Sometimes Emily replied, sometimes she didn't. That was the new rhythm, honest, uneven, real. Then just before Thanksgiving, Tara sent another message. I'm hosting a dinner. Small, no press, no speeches, just family. You don't have to come, but I'd like you there. There's a seat for you if you want it. Emily stared at the message for a long time. She didn't respond, but on Thanksgiving afternoon she got dressed, packed a small pie she had bought, not baked, and called a ride. When she arrived, Tara opened the door herself. There was no dramatic gasp, no tears, just a nod and a quiet, "Hey." The living room was cozy, not camera perfect, a little messy, a little warm. A framed photo of the two of them sat on a shelf. The real photo. No captions, no edits. Their parents were already there. Their mother looked nervous. Their father stood up awkwardly when Emily entered. "Hi, Em," he said. Emily nodded. "Thanks for coming," her mother added. Emily didn't reply. She just walked to the table, set down the pie, and sat. No one asked about the blog. No one brought up the show. They just ate. And for the first time in years, they did something incredibly rare. They laughed. Not constantly, not easily, but naturally. At one point, Tara dropped a spoon and muttered, "Of course." Emily smirked, shook her head. Later, their father told a story from when the girls were kids about a summer camp prank that involved a squirrel and a broken cooler. Everyone groaned but laughed anyway. After dinner, as the table was being cleared, Tara walked over with a stack of dishes. Emily reached to take them. "You don't have to," Tara began. "I want to," Emily said. And she meant it. In the kitchen, they stood shoulder to shoulder, rinsing, drying, not saying much. Finally, Tara whispered, "I'm still figuring out who I am." Emily didn't look at her. "That's better than pretending to be someone you're not." "I still think about it," Tara added. "The show, the night I won. Regret it." Tara paused. "Some parts, but mostly I regret that you weren't in the audience." Emily set down a plate. "I wouldn't have clapped," she said, "but I might have stayed till the end." Tara smiled faintly. They didn't hug, didn't cry. But when Emily left that night, Tara followed her out to the curb. The night was cold, the sky clear. "I'm glad you came," Tara said, "even if it's just this once." Emily nodded. "We'll see." She stepped into the car. As it pulled away, Tara stayed on the sidewalk, hands in her pockets. Inside the car, Emily pulled out her phone. She opened her blog, stared at the blank post window. Then she typed, "Final entry. My name is Emily. You know my story. But here's the part that matters now. I survived. And I'm still here. And this time I'm not disappearing. No moral, no twist, just truth. Thank you for listening." She hit publish, then put the phone away and looked out the window, watching the world blur past imperfect, unresolved alive. Just like her.